Hello everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome to my room. Do come in, pull up a chair, sit down, join me, because today's video I'm going to be talking about Revlon. That's right, good old-fashioned Revlon cosmetics. Or is it? Is it as old-fashioned as some of us think it is? I remember my grandma using Revlon products back in the day. Revlon and Max Factor were some of her favourites. And I used a couple of Revlon products in a recent video that I did. And it just got me thinking about the brand, because actually they're some of my longest used products and they've really lasted me well over the years. They've stood the test of time. The Revlon Colour Stay Foundation and the Super Lustrous lipsticks I've had in my collection for years and years and years and still regularly use them. So I thought, let's show the brand some love. I'm going to do a whole dedicated video on good old Revlon and just see and talk about whether I think they're old-fashioned, outdated, and we've all moved on to more modern brands, or if it's still a really classic, good brand that do consistently good products. So let's make a start and get some of them on my face. And I'd love for you to tell me as well, how do you feel about Revlon? Is it a brand that you still use? Did you use it in the past and now maybe you've gone on to more modern brands? Or do you still have some of their staples that have really, really lasted you well? Okay, so I've got a selection of lovely Revlon goodies out here in front of me. And the ones that I'm going to start with, I have spoke about in previous videos and I think they're fantastic. And they are their primers. These, do you know about these? The Revlon Photo Ready Prime Plus primers. Now they do 3 different versions of these. I have 2. I've got the green one, which is the mattifying and pore reducing primer. So I'd go for this one on the days when my skin is feeling a bit more oily. I use it a lot in the summer, this one. And I also have the pink one, the perfecting and smoothing primer, which I get a lot of use out of in the winter time if my skin's feeling a bit drier, if my rosacea's playing up on my cheeks, that's when I'll use this one. And they do another one in like an orangey yellow colour, and I think that one is brightening. So if you have dullness on your skin, you might like that primer. And they're great, they really are. And obviously Revlon is a drugstore brand. They've got sensible prices, Other drugstore brands like L'Oreal, their prices are creeping up and up, aren't they? Whereas Revlon, I mean, they're still pretty reasonable. I mean, they're not the cheapest drugstore brand, but they're sort of mid-priced, I'd say, for drugstore. And I think these primers are excellent, and I often use them with my high-end foundations. So let's put some on. I'll show you the texture. It's this sort of white, they're silicone primers, so it's that very smoothing texture. If you know about, what's that one, the very famous silicone primer, the Benefit Professional, that's the one. They feel similar to that, but they've just got a lovely freshness to them. It's got a nice fresh smell. It's not heavily fragranced. There's slight fragrance, a very, very small amount, but it's nothing that irritates me or anything like that. And I just apply it like that, just on top of my skincare. I just put my usual skincare on and then go over with that primer. And it feels lovely. It feels really, really nice. And it does help my foundation and all of my powder products on top to last a really, really long time, which is brilliant. Now then, for foundations. With Revlon, you don't really get the sort of newest, the most trendy colours, formulas, finishes. They don't really do sort of fashionable makeup. So in foundations at the moment, I'd say the trend is for very sort of dewy, glowy, skin-like foundations. You don't really get that in Revlon. What Revlon do, as I see it, is they do classic products. So the foundation I'm going to use today is the Revlon Colour Stay. This the good old fashioned, it's been around for many, many years. Revlon Colour Stay long wear makeup. And I have this one in the normal to dry skin. Okay. Now it's a medium to full coverage foundation. And It's really, really good. I love it. I use it if I don't have an Estee Lauder Double Wear on the go at the moment, but I've got this. I'll use this in place of that. And I'm equally as happy with the result, if I'm honest with you. Revlon, they do the classics and they do them very well without being bothered about keeping up with the latest, greatest, you know, what's trendy at the moment. That's my opinion. That's how I see Revlon. Let me know if you agree or disagree with that. You know, we can get a healthy conversation going, can't we? And I love this. It's got SPF 20 in it, although I'd always recommend you use a separate SPF on your face anyway. And I have this in the shade 220 Natural Beige. And as I say, it's for the normal to dry skin. Now, if you have seen me before, you'll know that I don't have dry skin. I'm combination to oily in my skin. And Revlon do have a version of this foundation for combination oily skin, but I don't like that one. I have used it in the past and I just found it a little bit too drying, I would say. If you're very, very oily though, that might be a good one for you. But if you're combination oily, the normal to dry skin one works really, really well. So let's get some on the back of my hand. I'll do a couple of pumps. So I'll show you that. It's it's a bit runny, isn't it? You can see it there running down my hand. So let me take a bit of this on my brush. Now, what shade is this, did I say? It's 220 Natural Beige. I think this might be more my summer shade. Oh, I don't know, that seems to be blending quite nicely, doesn't it? Let's take a little bit more as well and just blend this in. Now, the thing I like about these full coverage sort of semi-matte finish long wearing foundations is you can put on a very light sheer layer of it and you don't feel like you're wearing anything that's too mask-like. Do you know what I mean? I'm just putting a very, very sheer light layer of this on just in those areas where I want coverage. So on my cheeks where my redness can get, on my nose and up here into my forehead. Now, just looking closely into my mirror here, I'm really, really happy with it. I'm happy with that layer of coverage. Now, is it the smoothest foundation I've ever applied? Probably not. Is it sort of luminous and healthy looking and skin-like? Probably not. But have I got good coverage and will this coverage last me all day? Oh yeah. And does it settle into the lines and do I get the polka dot pores? No. So it does have its benefits. And if your skin type is similar to mine, I would recommend you giving it a go, because if you want that long lasting coverage and you're not bothered about having a very sort of luminous dewy skin like finish, I think you'll really love it. Now, moving on to concealer, and the one that I'm going to use today is the Revlon Colorstay Skin Awaken Concealer. Now, I've only recently discovered this, actually. It says it's got caffeine and vitamin C in it, and it says it's a 5-in-1 concealer. I must say, I really, really do love it. It's not full coverage, but I don't necessarily want that from a concealer anyway. I just want something to give me a little bit of brightness in these hollow areas here and a bit of light reflection in that area, but still look sort of not natural, but natural-ish. I don't want it to look like I've got sort of, you know, full coverage, heavy foundation on that area. So I really do like it. And it's got a sponge tip applicator that we've seen in the Maybelline ones. And yeah, I'm just going to put some there, and some there. What shade is this? I think it's Fair. Yeah, 005 Fair. I'll list all the products and all the colours and everything down below. If you are interested, you can have a look. And I'm using my e.l.f. double-ended brush today. What's this one called? It's the Complexion Duo brush, and I'm going to use the concealer end now just to blend this in. So yeah, I ordered it online, this concealer, because I couldn't find it in my local Boots. And it's always a bit of a risk when you order cosmetics online, you know, is the shade going to be right for you and things like that. I really do love it. I think the shade is quite light, I will say that. I think in the summertime I might want a slightly deeper shade maybe. But certainly for the winter, I really like this fair shade. And I'm going to put a little bit more onto my eyelids because I want this to work as an eyeshadow primer as well for when I come onto my eyeshadow in a bit. There we go. So how's January been treating you so far? It's starting to drag a bit now for me, if I'm honest. I like it at the beginning of January because you get that lovely sort of new year, fresh start feeling, don't you? And that's usually when I want to do like decluttering and throw out the old, bring in the new, all of that, you know, and that can be quite exciting, can't it? But now at this stage, I just feel like, oh, you know, I'm over it now. I'm ready to move on with February and get into the more spring-like months. Don't know, how about you? It's just really gloomy today. I'm looking out my window here and the sky is just very grey. It's raining on and off, you know, it's not even the very cold, crisp, frosty days. They've all gone now. So, yeah. Anyway, thought I'd come on and do a video instead because this always cheers me up. Fab. Right, so that is my foundation and my concealer on my face, and I think it's really nice. I'm very, very happy with this, and I know that these products have got a really, really good amount of staying power for my combination to oily skin. What do you think so far? Let me know. Right, let's move on to a setting powder. Now then, I like a loose powder because I like how they look on the skin. I like how they set my makeup, and I really like to do that as my step when I'm putting my makeup on. I don't take them out in my handbag with me to touch up through the day. I would take a pressed powder for that. But when I'm applying my makeup in the mornings, I like a loose powder. And the one I've got today is the Revlon Colour Stay Blot, it's called, and it's a loose powder. It's all in there. And it says it's a matte setting powder and it lasts for 16 hours, apparently. And what shade is this? It's just in the shade 001, it says there. And I don't know if you saw my recent video on makeup products that scare me and products that I don't like. Well, there was a loose setting powder in that. And the thing that I didn't like about it was the mess it made. It just went everywhere and I didn't like it. This one, however, I do like because it doesn't make a mess. It closes off. You see, you've got your little holes there. And you've got this little pull tab here, which when you pull it, it lifts up. Look at that. And so your product is in there and you've got this. Isn't this genius? I don't know why all loose powders don't give you something like this. So what I will do, I will just tip out the amount that I want in the lid, which isn't very much, you know, about like that. And then I'll close that back down. Perfect. I love neat and tidy makeup that's not going to make a mess. And I'm going to use my Bailey Big Fluffy Powder Brush to just pick up that powder, give it a tap and set my face. Mostly down the centre. There we go. And that is really, really nice. I do find it to be fairly blurring and smoothing. I don't know if you can see, I'll get a bit closer, but I think that has got a really, really lovely finish. And actually, it does look like a fairly natural finish as well. So if you want a new loose powders to set your makeup, I do recommend this one from Revlon. And I don't really hear anybody talk about this on YouTube. I don't know why. I don't really hear many people talk about Revlon at all, really, on YouTube. And I think that's because there is that feeling that, oh, it's really old now. It's an old brand. We've all moved on. And yeah, maybe, that is true. But don't ignore the old classics. You could really be missing out on some fabulous products. So moving on to bronzer, and I did use this bronzer in my last video, my back to basics makeup video. I used this, and it's the Revlon Skin Lights bronzer. It's gorgeous, and it's in the shade, what does that say? Can Tan, I think it says, and it's number 2, 002, Can Tan. And I love it so, so much. I love the colour. I love how it feels. I love the attention to detail with that embossed pattern on the powder. I did say in my last video, it reminds me of NARS Laguna as well. It's not matte, but it's not glowy either. It's just that gorgeous satin finish that I love in a bronzer. So Real Techniques 400 brush. Pick up a bit of this, tap it off, and just go around the outside of my face with this. Yeah, love it. It just makes you look a bit healthier, doesn't it? And in January, when we're all pasty pale white, well, I'm speaking for myself here. It's just lovely to add a little bit of colour back into my face, a little bit of dimension as well on my cheeks there. Not going to go overboard though, I'm going to leave it there for now. But yeah, really recommend this bronzer if you are looking for a new one. Okay, now moving on to blush. And these particular blushes I did see people talk about on YouTube 3 or 4 years ago, was it? And it's these ones in the big square package. This particular shade is called Mauvelous, and it's a beautiful sort of true pink. It's got a little bit of peachiness in there as well, but it's just a lovely mid-toned pink. As I said, you're not going to get anything crazy with Revlon. You're not going to get anything really out there. You're just not. But the formula of this is beautiful. It's so smooth. It's soft. It's lovely. And it's fairly matte as well. But you see the pigment that came onto my hand from that, it's just gorgeous. And let me show you, just going to apply it with a fairly big fluffy brush here. Tap off the excess and just go over that cheekbone area with this. And yeah, that's just enough. I mean, wow, it is very pigmented, which is great for a drugstore powder blush. And look, that's just brought just a nice amount of life and freshness to my face, hasn't it? So let's do the same again over here. Yeah, that is lovely. And I'm really enjoying applying powder blushes with this brush at the moment. What is it? It's by Morphe. I just got it in Boots the other day, and it's just called the powder brush, the M162 powder brush from Morphe. I don't use it for powder though, I use it for blushes. Well, powder blushes, you know. But I love that. I just really love that. I just feel, yeah, just fresh, as I said. And as we are getting out of January and going into February and March into the spring months, I'm really going to like wearing these sort of pinky shades on my cheeks. So let's move on to brows now. And I don't have a Revlon brow pencil. No particular reason why. I've just got loads of other brow pencils on the go, and I wasn't going to buy another one just for this video because I need to use up what I have first. So I'm going to use my Morphe one, which I do like. It's the micro brow pencil in the shade Almond. So I love a micro brow pencil with the spoolie at one end and the product at the other. And I'm just going to go over my tattoos, my nano blades, my nano bladed areas with this, just to give it a little bit more sharpness, make them a bit darker as well. Yeah, because I hardly have any actual hair on my eyebrows, so I do like to get them nano bladed. Sort of once a year or so I'll have them topped up. And it just gives me a nice template to just go over with my brow pencil. There we go. Very good. Right. Oh, just on the subject of this hairband, I wore it in one of my Christmas videos, and a couple of you asked me where I got it from. Well, I've actually had it for quite a few years now, and I think it was just from Claire's Accessories, and it's not available anymore. I think Claire's Accessories are actually on their way out, unfortunately. I used to love them for, you know, just hair bands and hair products and things, and I used to get a lot of them for my daughter as well there. So yeah, it's a shame it looks like they're on the way out. They're not selling online anymore. But I have found some similar ones on Amazon, so I will link them below as well if you are interested. So let's move on to an eyeshadow palette now. And Revlon eyeshadows, sort of 3, 4, 5 years ago, I was never very impressed with them. I never really found a palette that would last more than 2 or 3 hours on my eyes, and the colour, the pigment, the stain power, it just wasn't there. However, these ones I do actually like. Now, they're not the best eyeshadow formulas in the world. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they are, but they are decent. And if you just want a neutral palette, I don't think you can go wrong with this one. And it's called, what is it? Let me just tell you the name of the shade of this. Need my glasses. It's Moonlit. Moonlit. And you don't really get any mattes in here. They're all satin finishes, but the textures are beautiful. I mean, look at that. That's gorgeous. And you've got this one, and you've got this one, and the highlighty shade there. I mean, look at the pigmentation. They are decent quality. They really, really are. And at this price point as well, they're definitely worth a try. You know, I think that if you are looking for a new drugstore affordable eyeshadow palette, you can't really go wrong. So I'm going to go into this shade here. This, how would I describe it? Like a taupe, I guess, with my MAC 217 fluffy brush in that shade there, and just apply this to my crease area, or as best I can, because I have hooded eyes, which is a whole other video I could do, isn't it? I've never done a video on hooded eyes. I suppose, I just guess there's so many videos out there, aren't there, about hooded eyes and tutorials and things like that by actual proper sort of experts. I'm not an expert. I'm just a woman who has loved makeup for over 30 years. So I know what works for me. You know, I have learned a lot over those 30 years. And I know what I like and what I don't like. So I just think that if you're similar to me, and you have a sort of similar eye shape to me, I might be able to give you some hints and tips. You never know. But it's always worth trying things out on yourself. If you've got like a spare Sunday afternoon where you're not really doing anything, just get your makeup out, have a little play around. You know, you might try something new, something different that you really like. Or you might not, you might do something and hate it. Well, in which case, you know never to do that again, don't you? So it's always worth having a little play with your makeup. I really like that. It's given a lovely amount of depth, but it's fairly neutral. It's wearable. I could wear this for work. You know, if you work in an office, you could definitely get away with this. There's nothing, as I said earlier, with Revlon, there's nothing out there. There's nothing too flashy. It's just sort of sophisticated, simple, elegant makeup that will really enhance your features, in my opinion. Now, it does come with one of these little sponge tip applicators, and I think you either love or hate these, don't you? A lot of people just don't bother using them, and I never used to use them either. But for the inner corner highlight shade, it can actually be quite useful, because I usually use my fingertip for this bit. But if you just pick up a bit of that highlighty shade on this applicator, it's very, very precise. You can just place it in that inner corner like that without it getting all over the place. Might go in with a little bit more as well, but it just brings a lovely amount of brightness, and it just makes you look instantly more awake, doesn't it? So let's do the other side as well. Just in there, in that inner corner, blend it up slightly as well. And I really, really like this because it's not too shimmery. And I don't like eyeshadows that are too shimmery anymore. I've got like Charlotte Tilbury palettes. I've got a couple of Lisa Eldridge palettes as well. And they are nice colours. They're beautiful colours and beautiful formulas. But for me, I just find them too shimmery. And I don't want that level of sort of sparkle and glow on my eyes. I mean, sometimes if I'm having a night out, I will, but just for day to day, I want something that is just a little bit more, a bit more understated, I guess, and subtle. So let me go in now with the dark brown shade here, and I'm going to use one of my Bailey eyeshadow brushes. It's the one with the flat top, and I'm just going to stamp it into that dark brown shade there. and just apply it to that outer corner of my eye like this. And I have said before, if you are somebody with hooded eyes, this brush is your best friend, because you see what I did? You see how easy that was? Pat, 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 and then I've got that lovely depth and definition in my outer corner. I am going to go through and give all that a blend in a minute, but let's just do the same over here. See, just pat, pat, pat. Because the brush is flat at the top, you see, it's just the right size and shape for my eye anyway. I mean, I know we all have different size and shape eyes, don't we? But again, if you are similar to me, which I'm guessing you are, I think we all tend to gravitate to beauty YouTubers who have got things in common with ourselves, don't we? I know I do. So, right, let me just get a tissue now and just wipe that off. Okay, so we need to blend this now. So let me take my big fluffy brush again and just go over that and just give it a gentle blend. I'm using a really light hand to do this. Okay, there we go. And then same on the other side. Yeah, and this palette, it really could work for daytime or for evening, just depending on how you apply it. And I love that. I love a palette that's versatile, you know, that you can get many different uses from it. There we are, right, like that. Really happy with that. So there you go, recommended. Rebecca Mended. Right, so let's move on to eyeliner now. And Revlon do these colour stay eyeliners, these retractable pencils, which I love. And I am very impressed with the staying power of these too. Because if you have hooded eyes and oily lids, if you put your eyeliner on your upper lash line, it can transfer up here, can't it, onto your skin, which we don't want. And I am really impressed with these ones. So again, it's a retractable pencil with a smudger at the other end. So I'm just going to apply this now across my upper lash line in here like this. There we go. Oh, my husband's just left the house actually. He's gone to the airport. He's working away for the next 2 weeks. He's gone to Dublin. He's working in Dublin for the next 2 weeks. And I'm very jealous because I love Ireland. So, bit rude of him, wasn't it, going there like that without me? But there we go. I think I'm going to go a bit feral, to be honest with you, the next couple of weeks. Don't know. I just feel like staying in my pyjamas in this awful gloomy January weather. Stay in my pyjamas till like 2 in the afternoon, eating popcorn, watching Grey's Anatomy, you know. Oh dear, Grey's Anatomy, that's another thing. Now, I've only recently got into it. I didn't watch it back at the beginning when it first came out. I only started watching it from season 1 last year, at the beginning of last year. And I got hooked. It's really good. And I'm on season 13 now. And I know it just goes on and on and on and on, doesn't it, Grey's Anatomy? There's so much of it. But yeah, it has its ups and downs, and it's quite exciting sometimes. But Derek's died now. Derek just left and Christina left, which were 2 of the main characters that have been in it since the beginning. So don't know how I feel about that. It's a bit weird because there's new people come into it. Anyway, you're not here for that. You might not even watch Grey's Anatomy and you don't know who I'm on about, so I'll stop that now. Okay. So that's the eyes. Now then, next step is mascara, isn't it? And the one that I have here is a waterproof one. Again, hooded eyes, oily lids, I need waterproof or tubing. The one I have is the Big Bad Lash from Revlon. And I love the packaging. Look at this little bright red tube, isn't it fun? And if you've got a makeup bag like I have that's dark inside, I love this because you can always see it because it's this bright red shade, and this blue stripe here, this means it's the waterproof version. Okay, now let's apply this. So it's that sort of wand. It's not a plastic wand. It's like natural fibres. Let's get some of this on. And I think it's volumizing, isn't it? Yeah. Big Bad Lash Vavavoom volume. This is meant to be giving us. Let's see what we think. Is it going to be clumpy? This, you can probably tell, this is not one of my well-used, well-loved products. Actually, this is fairly new to me, but I just wanted to try it and just see what I thought, because I don't think I'd ever used a Revlon mascara, so I was curious. Yeah, it's given me nice big thick lashes, liking it so far. The true test for me though is, does it smudge and smear and go all over my face during the day? I'll pin a comment below, because obviously that's not something I'm going to be able to tell you in the video, is it? So I'll let you know how it wears. Yeah, have you tried any Revlon mascaras though? Do let me know if you have and what you think of them. And just generally, do you have any favourite products from Revlon that have stood the test of time for you? For me, it'd definitely be the primers, the foundation, and the lipsticks probably would be my all-time favourites from Revlon. But yeah, that's first impressions are good. It's got a nice amount of volume. It's not a particularly wet formula, which I do like. Again, in my recent videos of products I hate, that mascara was awful. I just blinked once and it was all over my skin. It looked awful. So yeah, I don't tend to like the very, very wet formulas of mascara. But this one, so far so good. I think that's looking really nice for now. So we're nearly at the end, we're nearly finished. Now the next step is my lips. And I think Revlon, one of their iconic products is their super lustrous lipsticks. They've been around for donkey's years, haven't they? I'm not sure exactly when, but Revlon as a brand came out in the 1930s, didn't it? It was started in America by a couple of brothers and one of their friends, who I believe was a chemist. It was in the early 1930s, and their lipsticks were some of the first products that they came out with. But yeah, these very classic. I mean, look at the classic design of this bullet. The black packaging with the little gold strip here with Revlon written on it. You've got the window at the top so you can see the lipstick. If you have a couple of colours like I do, you can see what they are. And it tells you underneath as well what the colours are. So what do I have here? I've got 811. Sorry, I need my glasses again. Oh my goodness. Let's put this on. It's 811 Laidback Lilac. And if you like a cool toned pink lipstick, that's gorgeous, isn't it? Laidback Lilac. It's one of the cream finishes. And I also have 805 Candied Rose. And this is also one of their cream finishes. I love this. This is probably my favourite, actually. It's a warmer toned pink, isn't it? But I think they're beautiful. And they do so many different colours as well. So if pinks aren't your thing, if you prefer corals or sort of brownie tone lipsticks, they will have shades that you like. Some of the classic shades, Cherries in the Snow, Fire and Ice, Pink in the Afternoon. Do you remember that one? Some people think that that was Audrey Hepburn's lipstick, don't they? Pink in the Afternoon. And if you watch Breakfast at Tiffany's and you look at her lip colour, it does look very much like Pink in the Afternoon from Revlon. So who knows? That was in the 1960s, wasn't it? So it could have been. Right, I also have one of these glossy, what's this called? Glossed Up Rose. And it's a Revlon Super Lustrous Shine lipstick in Glossed Up Rose. And the packaging is slightly different on this one. It's black and it's got the gold strip up here. But this is gorgeous. Oh, in the winter when my lips are feeling dry, look at the shine. Look at the shine that gives you. And it feels really comfortable and hydrating on the lips. It's very similar, in my opinion, to the Dior Hydrating Shine lipsticks. Very, very similar, I feel. But I get loads of use out of this. This is like the third or fourth tube of this that I've gone through. Really like it. And their lip glosses are also very, very popular. It's just called, what's it called? Revlon Super Lustrous The Gloss. And I've got this one again. It does come in a few different shades. What's this one called? Taupe Luster 306. Taupe Luster. And again, I just like to wear this sometimes on its own, maybe sometimes just over a lip liner. Fairly natural, neutral shade, isn't it? But I think for today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with one of my Revlon Colour Stay lip liners. The staying power from these is amazing. Love them. They will last you for hours and hours and hours. If you watch Emily Noel on YouTube, she really loves these Revlon Colour Stay lip liners as well. What shall I go for? I've got a nude one and I've got a pink one. And I think I'm going to use the pink one today. Again, retractable pencil, which are my favourite kinds of pencils. You don't need a sharpener. Love it. I'm all about low maintenance these days. Let's get some of this on. They're soft, they're creamy, they glide on nice and easy. Yeah, that was lovely, that, yeah. Felt really nice going on, that did. Sometimes if the lead is a bit hard, they can feel a bit draggy, can't they? Like they drag, but not these. These are really, really good. So what shall I put over this? I think I'm going to go in with my glossed up rose, my super lustrous glossy shine, the shiny one, this one, because I love it. Just over that liner. Oh, do you know what? I love this makeup today. I really do love this face of makeup that I've done right now. And I feel like I want to go out, but I'm not going out. I'm home alone, aren't I? Because my husband's gone off. Oh, well, it's all right. I'm going to see little baby Elsie this week. She's my granddaughter. She was only born last month. She's 5 weeks old now and I just love her so much. So I think I'm going to go down there and see them this week. They might come up here and stay with me for a few days. Obviously, my daughter's on maternity leave. So, yeah, spend a bit of time with them. That'll be nice, won't it? And my hair's growing now. A lot of you have asked me because I had that awful disastrous haircut back in October that I really wasn't happy with. I spoke about it in my Catrice and Essence video. It was at the end of October and I felt at the time like she cut far too much off. I felt that my layers were too short, but it's actually grown out quite a bit now and I'm really quite liking it again. It's probably going to be due a trim again soon, but I'm not going to go to that hairdresser. Going to find someone else this time, because when you want to trim, you just want to trim, don't you? You don't want like loads taking off. So I'll be a bit nervous. It's a bit of a risk because I've just had that awful experience. I don't want to have another one. I mean, I know it's only hair, but it makes such a difference to how we feel, doesn't it? So there you have it. That is today's video. Revlon, full face of Revlon products. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel about Revlon. And I will see you again in my next video. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. Bye. Bye-bye.